That was Visions by Stevie Wonder from the Inner Visions album. Excellent album. I played that tune tonight because it gets me in mind of what we're about to talk about, which is intelligence. All true intelligence is inner visions, inner chosen communication, what I always say. Pictures, intelligence, consciousness, whatever you want to refer to it as, ideas, all these things are visions that are generated into your mind from someplace else. You are used literally like a projector. You are used like I should say a screen, and there's a projector that is casting intelligence into your mind. All right? Now, certain people, a lot of people, the majority of people are going to get this intelligence, this advanced intelligence that is going to generate into your mind, where certain ideas come into your head. They're not your own ideas. All ideas are coming from someplace else. You're just a magnet that pulls them in, whether it's on the submental or on the higher mental state, on the higher mental frequency, right? People tend to gravitate toward the submental state. And on that submental state or that low state of intelligence is your educational curriculum, your educational system, right? It is a curriculum that works in a generalized rotation of study, right? And once you receive a generalized rotative state of study, which basically trains you how to think, how to maneuver in society, you have been stripped of your intelligence, if you had some in the first place, right? But it's meant to strip you of your independent thinking. This country, this society was built on independent thinkers. Some of the people, the titans of industry, big businessmen, the powerful people in the world were independent thinkers. They weren't average people who followed a rotation or a system like everyone else, a generalized educational curriculum. Like I said, this was crafted by the elect, or should I say the elite, to basically get people thinking in a formation, thus the word information, to get you thinking in a certain limited perception of thought, where you won't think outside the box. It's actually meant to place you in the box. Because in that box, or in that limited way of thinking, they tell you that that is a secure place to be. That's how everybody is thinking. So you think the same way because you don't want to be seen as an outcast. You don't want to be seen as someone who thinks independently. Independent thinking is frowned upon in this society, especially by the black woman. It's frowned upon. And I'm not trying to downplay all the sisters. I hope, when I do this broadcast that sisters that are listening to it, they aren't, you trying to bash all black women. No, I'm not trying to bash all black women. Just 99.9% of them, right? The 1%, the sisters who look to a man who possesses natural intelligence, that's rare. Just as it's a small percentage of brothers. Well, brothers, they don't really care. Smart chick, dumb chick, whatever. A lot of times they looking for a smart chick, but they don't know how to go about getting a smart woman because they've been educated in the society. Reason why I say that black women tend to like men who are educated, meaning they were given a systematic way of thinking and processing thoughts, an artificial way of thinking, is because she is taught from an early age that this represents security, to fit in, to be part of something, to be part of an educational system, because you are systemized in the society, whether the black woman is on some sort of welfare system, some sort of social system, some sort of job system. You're already systemized mentally. So now it's an educational system. Now, I'm not putting down the educational system when it comes to, I want to make that disclaimer. I'm not trying to say people shouldn't go to school and, become educated. I said no. I said the intelligent people, they truly get a benefit from receiving an education, because those are the people who usually know what to go to school for. These are the people that are going to school for law, medicine, things that you can really utilize in helping your people. Not people that are sitting around in school for philosophy, black studies, liberal arts and all kind of nonsense, communication, mass communications, all kind of nonsense that you gonna have to basically go out and ask the white man for a job or depend on somebody. I don't care who it is. You're gonna have to depend on somebody. It's not about whether you got to ask a white man or a black man. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't have to depend on anybody. You should be looking to get into professions, not get jobs. Look to get into professions, not jobs, things that you can practice independently. But in the society, black women don't like men who think independently, don't like men who think on their own, because in her mind, the black man is incompetent. In her mind, the black man needs a white man's educational system to give him some sort of status in her mind, to give him some sort of credentials as a worthy mate. Right? That's how she thinks. If he has his own natural intelligence, she's like, oh, well, first thing out of her mouth, where he go to school at? Now, what degree he got? What's his credentials? In other words, where does the white man validate him in his intelligence? I get it all the time. People like Dr. Sebi got it, where you have people who will rather sit up here and die from diseases that could be cured by this man. Cancer, AIDS, things he done cured factually. But you still got black people who go in droves to the doctors to get chemotherapy and get the hell burned out of them, to weaken their immune system, so they're not able. They're no good. Their system's no good to fight off the sickness that they have, which is really fungal infection. Your cancer is a fungal infection. It's a fungus, right? That can be fought with an alkaline diet. You had a doctor, and I believe somewhere in Europe, he was fighting cancer, certain kinds of cancer, with something as simple as baking soda, right? Now, that would be considered holistic, or somebody who's thinking outside the box, right? Dr. Sebi, he was putting together all kinds of compounds and things like that. He was just basically cleaning the filth out of the body, the bacteria and things like that out of the body, and the fungus that's fed by an acidic diet. He cleaned that out of the body to get the cancers and things out, because that's what your cancers are. It's bacteria, fungus. But it's not treated as such. You have a medical profession of people who went to school, who received an education based on a generalized education in the curriculum system, a systematic way of thinking that is obviously wrong. Because it's rare that you're ever going to see chemotherapy help anybody with cancer. You're really dying when you have cancer. That kills you faster with the chemotherapy and the radiation. And you have people, like I said, who sit up here because this man, Dr. Sebi, he didn't go to school. He wasn't educated. Barely read a book. I know how he feels. Because when you have people who are able to receive higher intelligence, people who just generate, or minds think on such a higher level, or not restricted in a box or a limited way of thinking, their minds are able to receive higher intelligence because they open their minds up to receive that. You understand? They don't keep their minds in a box of submental and limited perceptions, so that they can only get bits and pieces of what is ferreted out to them in this educational system. Again, I'm going to say it again. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going to medical school, for certain things. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going to law school. But this should be taken up by intelligent people, because, as I said, intelligent people know where to apply education at and what to apply for, right? The black woman, like I said, she looks to the black man secretly. She won't say it, but she looks to the black man to be the black shaded carbon copy of the white man. She looks to him as the true power, and his educational system is the true power. And she doesn't trust in the intelligence of the man, her man. You know? She doesn't trust in that. She would rather, like I said, have a black version of a white man. 9 times out of 10. A lot of black women have been geared in that direction. How many times you're going to see, here I'm going to draw you a scenario in the picture. You see a black man who's talking about he wants to start his own business or company or whatever the case may be, and his woman will be the first one, man, you better go get you a job. Nigga, you better go get you a job. They'll say that. You know, she's not going to support him. It could be a good idea, but she's not trying to hear it. All she want to hear is college and a 401k plan and a job, because she looks for security. And the security she looks for is in the curriculum of the white man. She looks for security in his arms through you. She's saying the black man's not smart enough to take care of himself. Right? That's really what it's saying. That's really what she's saying. When she's asking about your credentials and your things like that, what does the white man validate you? You understand? That's what she's saying. But the problem is, and a system that is breaking down is not working. That's, where we should have went and tried to take the things we could have took and, utilized them for the good. We utilized them for, we stayed on the system too long. We stayed on this educational system too long. We stayed in this welfare system too long. We get on something, we get comfortable. We don't take the good things that we could utilize. We don't take and open our minds up to higher ways of thinking, to bring about different things, to bring about a different reality in our evolution. We don't do that. We don't focus on what it is that we could possibly do, or what we can do. Forget possibly. We're going to take possibly out of the equation. What is it that we can actually do to alter our situation based on our own actual intelligence, our own natural intelligence? Right? Because 50% of our unions are based on people who are afraid, people who are thinking within a box, people who are afraid to think outside the box. And that's your black race, especially your black woman. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with her wanting security or wanting to be taken care of or making sure the children have. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, right? But, you should only ride a system, whether it's a job system or whatever, a system based on the job. You should only be riding that train, but for so long, you should be always looking to get off at the next stop to something better. And that's something that couples should be working on. See, because I guarantee you, if the black man, the so-called black man, the black woman work together as a team to build something, they would stay together a lot longer. They would be building and working on something that is beyond just them. They should be working on that as a couple, as a team. Same as John H. Johnson. I always give this analogy of John H. Johnson and his wife Eunice Johnson. Right? Ebony and Jet. His wife came up with the name Ebony for the magazine. They wanted a magazine that was the black version of life, because it was that was a stroke of genius that he would put out a magazine that would show black people in color and black life and things like that. That was a grand idea. He did that in 1945. That's what I'm talking about. His woman was there to back him. They worked together. You don't really see that anymore. If John H. Johnson had a black woman of today, she'd be like, nigga, please. You know it. Let's be truthful here. Man, you better go get you a job somewhere. Go work for a thing, writing for some newspaper somewhere. You start some magazine and this, that, and the third. She backed him. She was with him. 9 times out of 10, I say a lot of black men could be more successful if the women encourage them to do things. You can encourage the black man to go sell drugs, because he'll go out here and sell drugs to put, because when he's doing that, he's committing all kinds of crimes and things like that. He's just trying to impress the wrong kind of women, or females, I should say, black females. But that just shows you the influence a woman can have, or a female can have, on a man. She can get him to go out here and do all the wrong things just so he can have her. to buy her things, to have her love, her company, whatever. Now imagine if she turned that around and made him use his natural intelligence, his natural way of thinking to receive thoughts to bring about something new. If she tuned in as well with her natural intelligence to bring about something new, something that they could build together, that would be a stronger union. We're going to go deeper into that tonight. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz, and this is State of Mentel Radio, and tonight we're discussing why black women prefer educated black men over intelligent black men. Like I said, the black woman, she's been taught that you black men don't have a brain in your damn head. You can't think on your own. The white man, he can think on his own. The Asian man can think on his own. All these people can think on their own and set up curriculums for you to follow. But you're not trusted to set up a curriculum of your own and follow it and set up anything for yourself. You're not trusted to do that. Your woman will look at you sideways now if you try that. She's already geared to looking toward the white man. And I don't care if it's these conscious sisters. I don't care if it's the so-called the black nationalist sisters. I don't care what kind of black woman it is. Majority of you black women suffer from this. You suffer from this. Slave-minded syndrome. You know, where you got to look to these people, and you don't look to your man to bring out his intelligence or to, you know, make him or put him in a position where he has to think to be with you. You don't bring that out of him. You don't put him in a position to be like, yo, you know what? You know, even in suggesting things to him, be like, baby, why don't we just, you know, what do you think about us starting a company and we doing this together? These are the conversations that black men and black women should have. What if we started this kind of company? What if we did this? What if we, we had the family business and we got into this and did that? There's 1,000 little businesses you could come up with where you can grow them into big businesses where you can be financially secure, right? If you use your own intelligence, if you not always thinking about 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, go to work, come home, go to work, come home. If you're just thinking on a bigger level, you know. But like I said, a lot of people are not going to get behind that. A lot of the women are not going to get behind that. That's not going to happen. Because, like I said, she looks at the fact, going all the way even back to slavery, she looks at the fact that black men were not instrumental in providing security. They were always shown that early on by the slave masters that black men would not be able to protect you, would not be able to give you some sort of security or anything. He showed you late or early on through your grandmothers, that they can rely on the white man. And they passed that down to you. And y'all still feel that way. Nothing's changed. It's only rare when you see women, sisters, who are trying to push for a better life, and they're going to push and bring that intelligence out of their husbands and the men that they choose for mates. That's going to be few and far in between nowadays. Nobody has that independent, intelligent streak anymore. It's starting to fade out. We are becoming too dependent on systems, systematic ways of thinking that are not even created by us. We depend on somebody that we're going to go to school for 4 years, or we're going to go to high school and we're going to get out and we're just going to get a job. We think that's just how it's going to happen. We think that's just how things are. I'll just get out and get me a job. You know, that's it. We're not enterprising people. And like I said, the worst thing is when you have a woman next to you, or a man, because I'm not bashing the sisters tonight. It's not bash the sisters night. It's, when you have a man that's not by you, that's supporting you. Because I was about to put a post up on Facebook when I was going to say, you women can do bad by yourself. You can do average by yourself. But don't do bad or average with somebody. You understand? Don't do bad or average with somebody. Somebody that you calling your partner. They're supposed to come into your life. You're already a full person. They're supposed to come into your life and enhance your life for the better. Bring more to it. Y'all supposed to come in two mentally developed beings who are going to work together, whole people that are going to work together to bring about something new, something bigger, something greater than the both of you, something that will outlast your union, something that you can give to your children independently, based off of your own intelligence, based off of your own the security that you structure for yourselves. First question I hear black people ask me, and this is black men, unfortunately, they'll ask me when I'm talking about the state of Intel and us forming this new movement, this intelligence movement and things like that. First thing they say to me is, well, brother, what's your plan for food and self-defense and this, that, and the third and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're asking the wrong question. What you should be asking me is, well, brother, what can I do to aid in? This is what I could do to aid in, growing food and things and protecting and doing things like that. This is what I can do to aid in that. I'm going to school for this, brother. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Or the sisters should be saying that as well. Everybody should be bringing something to the pot. Everybody should be bringing something. Nobody should be looking for a handout or a systematic check of somebody to take care of you like big babies. Right? That's what happens with the educational system. You think all I got to do is go to school for 4 years and I'll get out and I'm taken care of. I'm going to get a job and that's just how it's going to be. Laziness. When the black man shows some sort of intelligence, some natural intelligence, a person who is bright and someone who is, receiving higher thoughts and whatnot and wants to go out and, and think outside the box and do great things in the world, he unfortunately meets with a woman who beats down that independent streak in him. Usually it's the black woman, right? He usually ends up going, I'm not bashing the sisters. I'm just showing you how they were made to think. He usually goes and gets women of other races. The guy by the name of Reginald Lewis, he started the TLC company. I believe it was in his biography, because he had an Asian wife. I believe his wife was Asian. He said, his mother said that if you want to be successful, if you want to, have the, somebody that's going to be by your side to push you in your success, don't get a black woman. His own black mother said that. Now, that's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. And he took his mother's advice and went out and got an Asian woman. Anytime a black woman going to keep it 100 like that. You understand? Now, a lot of black women sit up here and, he bashing black women. It's not about that. It's about the truth. It's about you owning up to this limited way of thinking and getting your weight up mentally to support your man or bring that support to him, right, to get him to start thinking, to get him to start, doing things and get that going within yourself. To get that going within yourself, right? This is what it takes. If you're not going to do that, if you're going to be the one sitting around and y'all think there's some security in the educational system here, in the generalized curriculum here, you're sadly mistaken. You're sadly mistaken. Our people have to learn to stand on their own. Everybody in the world is standing on their own. Every race of people are standing on their own except our people. Our people are the only one depending on, looking forward to, laying on our backs, waiting for somebody to do something for us, looking for a program, looking for a system, looking for a handout, looking for a system or educational system that's going to be the replacement for their own natural intelligence. Before there was really, the men who built this country, your billionaires like your John D. Rockefeller and your Andrew Carnegie and all these guys wasn't educated, yet they became billionaires, right? They worked, they had drive, they had the right women by their side, obviously, and they made it happen. Now, like I said, the lazy black answer is going to be, they was white, that's why it happened for them. They white people. And no, see, we talked about that in the last couple of broadcasts back about that whole black box and us using the whole black thing to limit ourselves. If we came together collectively in a new identity, a new race of people, as a new way of with a new way of thinking, that all we wanted to do in this collective was work together and build, right? collectively, breed a race of new people who were achievers and not complainers, who were actionary people instead of reactionary people, who were intelligent people instead of people sitting around waiting to be educated. Somebody sitting around waiting to be trained on what to do, what to think next, or how to think, or what limitations to put our thoughts on, then we would be further along. If you mothers taught your daughters that the first thing you do and to start in nurturing, before you even nurture your children, you must first nurture the intelligence in your man, so he can then turn around and foster an intelligence and a streak in you, so y'all could both feed off of each other and work off of each other. Then your relationships will stay together a lot longer. See, relationships back in the day, they stayed together a lot longer because they had more at stake than just sex and kids, and it was more at stake. Business, homes, things were tied in. A life was tied in to the relationships of the black man and black woman in the past. Nowadays, there's no life tied in with that. There's no life tied in with that. He could just come in, do what he do, leave. It's no connection, no tie. You didn't try to establish a tie or a bond with him. No business, no connection, no nothing. You didn't say to him, well, you know what? What are we going to do business-wise? That's the first thing. You know what? That should be the first thing out of your mouth, black woman. When you're talking to a potential suitor or somebody who's looking to get with you, that should be the first thing out of your damn mouth. That should be the first thing out your mouth. Not, oh, he a nice guy, or he cute, or I like how he talk or whatnot. Simple-minded nonsense. He educated, he talk good. That shouldn't be on your mind. Your mind should be on the frame of, is he a provider? Is he intelligent? Can he think outside the box? Can he produce a better life for a wife and a family? Is his vision limited, or is it boundless? Can he teach me anything? Can he teach children anything? That's the measure of a real man. See, obviously the black woman got it wrong today. That's why she ain't got no man. That's why she's alone. See, she don't know how to start the nurturing process in her man. Nurturing his intelligence. Being like, baby, let's do this. Let's do that. What about getting into this? What about getting into that? Because you, woman, act as the spark and the imagination of the man. Like I said, men do every and anything to get with you. If a man will go out here and risk his life to sell drugs, not because he's trying to get money, but he's trying to get money to flash so he can get you. His chasing and his get rich or die trying mentality and getting money, that ain't for him. So hell, if a man, he could live in the most simplest surroundings, as long as he eating every day, he got some clothes to put on his back, he don't care. All that extra stuff is for the women, to impress the women. That's what all the extra stuff is for. It's not for him. It's not for other men, unless those kind of guys. It's not for that. Everything else, everything that he does extra, even down to getting educated, is for you, to impress you, to get different kinds of women. You understand that? That's the whole point of it. But a lot of people miss that. They drop the ball. You wonder why you turning out young black men who reject an educational system in favor of going out in the street to sell drugs and all this other stuff. You know what happened? You know why that is? Because that, whether it's negative, even though it's negative, it actively challenges their intelligence, even if it's on the submental level. It actively, selling drugs, carrying guns, that's exciting to the black man. You understand? It challenges his intelligence on some level, where the educational system doesn't. That's why he'll sit in school till the 12th grade, or he ready to drop out of high school And first thing he ready to do, I'm tired of this school stuff, man. I'm going to bust my gun. I'm going to get some money. I want to do this. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to do this. I'm going to rhyme. He wants to do something that's going to challenge him to make it in the world. Now, it's negative, of course. Yeah, it's negative. It's short-sighted. But he wants something that's going to challenge him to make him go and do something to make him proactive. Instead of having somebody sitting in the class, having somebody talk at him, right, and tell him blah, 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 blah. This happened 1,700 years ago. This happened over here. This happened over here. Or this E equals MC squared, or the pi graph of the chart. No, he's like, what does this got to do with me? Pi to the square, hypotenuse of this, that, and the third. He's like, what? He's like, he's looking to try to survive in the world as a man, some kind of way. Whether he got to pick that gun up, whether he got to hustle, whether he got to sell, whatever he got to do, he's looking to survive right now. He's looking to use his intelligence, even if it's on a submental level. How can he make it in the world? That's why he drops out of school, because he doesn't see the relevance in it. He's not steered toward things that are going to actively challenge his imagination, things that are going to be able to make him stand up as a man and take care of himself. No, he don't see that. See, that's not how they do in these other schools, for these other people, these special schools that are run by the elite and their children. They start their children out early. They don't take them through nonsense and learning all kinds of things that are not necessary. They educate their children at an accelerated pace. Why? So they can get them to use their minds, so that they can start using or attracting some form of intelligence. That's why they accelerate their education quickly. Their children are ready for college at 14 and 15 years old. Right? They don't. That's what happens when you take hold of your child's education. You can flip it into an intelligence curriculum instead of an educational one. See, black people don't want to do that. You understand? Black people don't want to develop an intelligence curriculum to speed up your intelligence. The only way to do that is by cutting out all the BS, building your own educational system, and starting to give your children what they really need, as opposed to sitting them there for hours, loading them down with information, things that they're never going to use a day in their damn life. Just because these people want to have your child sitting in a grade for a year, when you get to the important things of what they need, they'll be finished school, all of the schools, at 16, 17 years old, or 15. Back in the day when the Nation of Islam, when Honorable Elijah Muhammad and they set up the University of Islam back in the 30s and the 40s, back in Detroit, they had their own school. They set up their own school to educate their children. They pulled their children out of public school, and they had teachers teaching their children all kinds of science. These grade school children, science, chemistry, all kinds of high mathematics, and all this. When the truant police, they came in and they tried to stop. They was wondering why the black kids in the area were not going to school. They found that they were going to the Nation of Islam school. They broke into school and they confiscated the books and all this other stuff, and said that these kids were truant and that the black people wasn't allowed to teach their own children. Right? But the books they found and the lessons they had for the kids was on things that was far advanced for children who were in the 6th and 7th grade. They were learning all kinds of high math and all kinds of calculus and all this at 7 and 8 years old. They were learning all kinds of scientific equations, all of this, history, everything. And they were surprised they were learning. And the history and all of it was right. They were surprised that the children were learning on that level, and they were excelling, right? So, of course, they got to stop their accelerated pace. They got to slow you down. They don't want your children finishing school at 15 and 16 years old, starting college at 15 and 16 years old, or that you're building a university where you're educating your children, or a system that's based on an intelligence system and not an educational one. They don't want that. where you're advancing the intelligence of your children, as opposed to limiting them in an educational system, telling them how to think, basically programming them, producing all kinds of images at every gram within their brain, all pictures, all messages, right? These are the people you trust to educate your children, because our people won't build an intelligence system to teach their children. A totally different curriculum. This is why the black woman don't respect the black man. She don't. She don't respect his intelligence, because everybody else around the world is stepping up. They stepping up, building curriculums for their children. Private schools. You understand? Taking hold of their children's education. The nation did that. You understand? The nation did that. I don't understand how the Honorable Elijah Muhammad can have any detractors. I don't understand that. You know, teachers that torture children that look like you. You understand? And you got black people sit up here and say, oh, that's racist, why you feel that way. Look, nobody's going to care for your children more than those who look like them, especially if those teachers have to answer to you. If you're paying their salary, if you're making sure that you're active in your children's education, because I said I want to come up with a different word other than education, and I will. You know, I will. I'll come up with a different word other than education, you know, because we need to start setting curriculums for our children. And we're going to do that in the state of Mintel, setting curriculums for our children, schools for our children, so we can teach our own children. You know, nobody is willing to do that, so that we can advance the intelligence of our children, so that they don't have to sit around, so we don't have to produce another generation of young black girls, so-called black girls. We can produce a generation of bright women who will look at a bright man, solar intelligent being that he is, a high thinker. She will be able to look at him and say, you know what? I trust in your intelligence because I share the same intelligence that you do. I have that. I generate these images in my mind as well. And yes, we can build together. That's going to cement a real relationship. Not know, oh, he cute, or oh, he conscious, or oh, he got curly hair, he got waves, he could spit on a microphone or some kind of nonsense. You know. That's the gist of your relationships. And then you wonder why, like I said, the black woman walking around pregnant, no father in sight, no nothing. Nothing. You know, the black man received an education. The so-called black man received an education in the society. He received an education early on. He was trained early on in the society. You know, he was trained how to be a slave. He was trained how to stay in his place. He was trained how to think in a formation. You understand? In a circular way of thinking, inside of a box. He was trained to think that if he received an education, if he received a validation on his intelligence from his former slave masters or the people that held him in bondage, then that would somehow make him special. That would somehow make him important in the world. So some of them educated themselves, right? Even you black men that went to the streets, you received an education. See, because an education is an education. All that means is that you're being trained how to think. You're being trained like an animal. Whether you in the school being trained to think in a formation, in a circular way of thought, or you're trained like an animal in a zoo, like you in the street somewhere, fighting and shooting and killing and cutting each other in the face and stabbing each other. You train to act like an animal. So you educated all around. Whether it's in a negative or a positive, it's still the same useless education if you're not going to take it with a sense of intelligence, where you understand what you can keep, what you should be focused on, what you're there for, versus being there just wasting time and wasting school money or wasting grant money or whatever, however you got, from your parents or whatever, wasting time. There should always be a goal and an aim. See, when the black man sits in college, or high school, 9 times out of 10 he drops out because he doesn't see the point. He doesn't see the point. He's not reminded of the point. See, the only people that can push across the point of why he's there are the people who look like him, the people who are educating him, the people who control the curriculum, an intelligence curriculum. A curriculum that's going to get him through there, get him learned up like boot camp, and keep him out and keep him moving. But our people don't want to take responsibility for that. They don't want to take responsibility for that because we got too many interlopers here. We got too many people who are afraid to stand up and teach their own children. They're afraid to be proactive in their children's lives because they're afraid to offend other people. Nobody cares about what you think when they're educating their children privately, separate from you. Nobody cares what you think. Because your thoughts are not worth anything. They're taught in this society. Y'all even believe that your thoughts are not worth anything if they're not validated by the white man. You're taught that. Like I said, I get it all the time. First thing I'm always, and I get this from everybody, from the conscious community to just the hecklers and whatnot who will sit, and we got a few of them. They'll be like, oh, well, brother, what book you read this out of, what you teaching, where you get this from, blah, blah, blah. I say, I don't read books. I don't read books. Oh, brother, you heard that somewhere before and blah, 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 and this, that, and the third, and blah. I say, I don't read books. If I pulled it from this submental state or I pulled it from on high, right, beyond this submental state, outside of this atmosphere, if I pull that intelligence out of the air via frequencies, via solar waves in which all this intelligence is traveling on, you understand? If I pulled it that way, if I was in tune to pull it that way, I pulled it that way, and that was my pulling or my natural intelligence at work, meaning I was in tune or entailed to something, to get something, to receive something. That's my natural intelligence pulling in these messages. I didn't have to go to anybody secondhand and read no book. I didn't have to do that. A lot of our people possess this ability. Few of our people, I ain't going to say a lot of our people, few of our people possess this ability. Dr. Sebi's one of them. Of course, people will show you things. People showed him things and whatnot, and everything was trial and error, but he had to have that natural intelligence there to have the desire to even go and do that. That's what I mean when I say natural intelligence versus education versus a people who look to someone else to tell you how to think and what to think. You understand? Versus that's how lazy our people got versus you using your own natural intelligence and pulling in the things based on what you see, based on what you hear, based on what you observe. When I made the statement that the black man and black woman are not part of the human race, and I stood on that. I stood on it. I still stand on it. I said black people are not part of the human race. And, the first thing the educated Negroes, the conscious Negroes and all them said was, well, where you getting that from, brother? I said, I'm an intelligent man. I can look. I can observe. I can see how our hair grows. I can look at how our skin looks. I can look at how we move. I can look at, all of these things, all of how we vibrate in this atmosphere. You can look at all these things and tell we're not like these people. You can look at the treatment we receive in this society as outcasts to let you know that we're not like these people. We're not the same species. You can see that. But no, see, that's not good enough because they got to wait for a white geneticist or somebody to say it. And as I said, somebody did say it. They're gradually saying it right now, so they'll tell you they'll come out with it in another, probably 2 or 3 years. But it'll be widespread where somebody already calmed it down and pushed it to the side. But they have to wait for the white man to say it, for him to so-called do some scientific experiment, which he don't really do no scientific experiment. He just tells you that. Most of the things that he states in his so-called scientific equations is nothing but theories, ideas that he's developed over time based on things he sees. But you respect it coming from him rather than somebody who looks like you. Because you black men, you suffer from it too. If it's not you doing it, or you think a black man or so-called black man too simple-minded to have his own, to be able to see and observe and pick up things and pull in intelligence, you don't think that's possible. That's why the first thing out your mouth is, well, where you get that from? Where you getting that from, brother? What book you got that from? And I said, no. Because if you're going to say to me, what book did I get that from? I said, where did the white man get it from? Where did he get it from? You understand? Don't tell me no science. Don't. If you tell me, oh, brother, he did some scientific experiment, how you know? How did he know to even do experiment to find it? Where did he get the idea to do scientific experiments to find anything? See, because the rabbit hole gets deeper. If you're gonna tell me he came up with that, it was an experiment he came up with, and he came up with this idea. When I'm like, where? How did he get the idea? How did he go? How did he go from being in the cave, scratching his behind, and banging each other over the head with clubs, and running around naked eating raw flesh, to being the premier leaders of the world? How did that happen? Moving ahead in science and all this stuff. Who elevated these people? Where did their intelligence come from? Was it natural? And why was their intelligence natural, and why wasn't yours? Why hasn't yours elevated? You say, how is ours moving slowly and these people moved ahead of us? Who elevates the intelligence on this planet? Who takes people from being downtrodden in caves, from monkeys to men, to leaders of the world bringing in technology? Who does that? You think that's just all them on their own doing that? Or are they in tune with something? Are they intel with something? Intelligence. Are they receiving something? Inner chosen communication. That's what intelligence is. Inner chosen communication. Tell. In. Right? Receiving from outward. Now, if you're going to say, oh, brother, well, that was in us already and whatnot, well, how come it's not manifesting then? Because if it's in there, somebody had to place it there. You didn't place it there yourself. You understand? Somebody brought that out of us. Somebody higher than us. Now, you can say that's us, and I say it's us. Even on the higher level, it's us. But we're not going to get to that higher us as long as we keep depending on the education of others. It's people telling us how to think in a box. As long as the other half of our union, whether male or female, is downplaying our intelligence because they want you to fall under the submental mindset of education. Whether you acting like a Sambo and a coon, whether you a handkerchief heading to college, whether you some simple-minded nigga on the street hustling it or talking about hip-hop all day, that's an education you received in America. You understand that? That's all education. That's all trained ways of thinking. Limited, trained ways of thinking. That's all education. You got your education on how to be a thug and a criminal in the streets. Why? Because when you came up here, like I said, when our people came up here from places like down south and the Caribbean, who was already here? White criminals in these areas in the urban cities. They were already committing crimes and doing the things that y'all doing now. So y'all was following them. So you got educated in those ways because a lot of y'all was running in street gangs with them before they left the neighborhood. A lot of y'all started learning how to shoot guns and sell dope and do all the stuff you were doing. Y'all was bootlegging all that stuff. Y'all got that from them. Y'all wasn't doing that before. Y'all started following them into jail. So you got your education. That was part of the education. How to be low lives. You understand? Just like it's part of your education to sit up here and repeat verbatim everything they say and then think you intelligent when you're not. Intelligence means natural smarts. People who possess natural ways of thinking, natural smarts, right? As opposed to people who are educated, who receive artificial ways of thinking, artificial smarts. You basically, your education comes from the limited perception of man, when true intelligence comes from the unlimited mind of God, if you are in tune. If you are in tune. If you're not in tune, then you got to rely on man. See, God turns on intelligence in man and in woman. If you are in tune, if you are thinking outside the box, if you're not on a low nature. But the woman, she gets turned off by that. You know, the woman is trained to get turned off by that. You'll see the guy, like I said, the independent guy who thinks outside the box, you know, he doesn't have all the women. I don't care if he's black, white, whatever. Right? That guy's going to have a limited amount of women. Right? Good example of that, Bill Gates. Okay? Since you think it's all about race, forget the race part of it. I'm thinking here, Bill Gates was an independent thinker. He was an independent thinker. He thought outside the box. Most of your independent thinkers, right, they don't move along with everybody in society. Bill Gates, I think he dropped out of Harvard. Dropped out. Because he had an idea. He had something that was burning in him. Steve Jobs, Berry Gordy, right? John H. Johnson, Elijah Muhammad. It always takes a certain amount of people. I name these people because they separated themselves from the pack. Right? They separated themselves from the pack. They got into groups of people, or they got with groups of people, and they pushed their own vision. They got with women who could see the power of a man's intelligence. Right? You got women who are really turned on by the intelligence of man. I heard a woman say one time, she's turned on by the intelligence of a man, but then what she really meant was she's turned on by the education that he received from another man. That's what she's turned on by. She's turned on by the fact that a lot of you educated black men got the white man's hand up your behind like a sock puppet. And all y'all doing is repeating everything he said. There's no thought on your own. There is no independent thinking. You understand? There is no independent thinking. Because if there was independent thinking, there would be motion picture companies, there would be record companies, there would be, and I'm talking about with distribution, there would be all of these things that you would be accomplishing. There would be more U.S. doctors. There would be more U.S. lawyers. It wouldn't be all y'all trying to be a bunch of rappers, which is a form of education because they said that, you black men, like I said, Biggie gave you that education. You understand? He told you, you like I said, sling crack rock or, got a wicked jump shot. That was a form of education. Right? That was a form of education, something that limited you, something that limits you. So now young black men think, oh, man, all I could do is hustle or, get a job or, whatever. I just can't sit up in school no more. You understand? Drop out to be a zero, to be a nothing. Most of the kids who drop out of school, either one or two things happens. Either, like I said, things are moving too fast or it's moving too slow. 9 times out of 10, school is moving too slow for the black man. He's not being challenged. He doesn't see himself in the world where he's being challenged to do anything. Right? He doesn't see himself that way. Then if he has a mother, if he's just raised by a mother who doesn't value intelligence, she values education, a.k.a., she feels that's the fastest way to get money, a.k.a. a job. If she doesn't value his intelligence, if she wasn't the mother that had him at science fairs, if she wasn't the mother that had him in private schools, kept him away from the kids that wasn't doing nothing, or tried to find charter schools or had him going to science fairs instead of football and basketball games and things like that, if she's not that kind of mother that's proactive in his life, then, there's really no hope for him. There's really no hope for him. All he's going to do is sit around, right? And he's going to get educated to the ways of the world. He's going to get educated to the ways of the world. He's going to become a zero. Whether he's becoming a zero in the educational system or he's becoming a zero in the street system, in the penal system, he's going to become a zero. All right? That's going to happen. We'll be right back. Another reason why certain black women, they like educated black men over intelligent black men is because educated black men, you can manipulate. You can manipulate them. They're easy. All right? They're not wise to things, a lot of things. Right? You could even manipulate the street guys, the so-called street smart guys. You can manipulate them. You know? You can manipulate them because the intelligence or their intelligence that they receive is artificial. Right? It's not a natural intelligence. It's artificial. People who carry an artificial intelligence, it's easy to fool them. It's easy to get over on them. You can tell them anything. They're not going to put two and two together about whether you messed around, whether you're taking something from them, or whether you manipulate them to do whatever it is you want. They're not going to be wise to that. But the man who's intelligent, he'll sit up here and be like, what? He'll start thinking, right? If he has that Valentine Day, oh honey, my honey, sweet, my dear honey, it's sweet, 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 and he's been educated like a good, he's been educated like a good Sambo here, he's gonna think like that because that's his artificial way of thinking. He's not gonna look at a situation for what it is. He's gonna try to make it something other than what it is. That's what education does to you. It makes you see or make up things that are not actually there. It makes you look at women a certain kind of way, right? And make them more or females more than what they are. Like, for example, you got a lot of these so-called educated black women, right? Who, if you listen to them talk and you look at their background, you look at the things they did in school and why they get to this point, and you look at them and, you'd be like, oh, the educated guy, oh, well, she's a very accomplished woman. She's very accomplished, and she's been educated, and, she's this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. Right? But then the guy with the intelligence, the guy who, because even some of the street guys got a little bit of intelligence. A little bit. Even though it's submental intelligence, it's a little bit. He tends to use his brain a little more. The street guy tends to use his brain because he tries to see things for what they really are. Because he has to. He's in the line of work where he got to keep things somewhat real. He'll look at those kind of women, right? Call her a hoe. Call her a slut. You think he's calling out her name, but 9 times out of 10, she responds to him. Because she know her ways have been slutty and whorish. She knows that she can put on a mask with the educated guy, but the street guy knows her because 9 times out of 10, she done been to bed with the street guy. He done did everything to her, right? It's their little secret. A lot of these guys in the hip-hop world, these guys are lame. They gullible, the rappers. They get all these ex-strippers and these ex-chicks that was sitting on drug dealers' laps 10 years ago, right? They slow because they've been educated. A lot of your rappers, you'll find out the ones who coming out talking about how hardcore they are and stuff like that and this, that, and the third, these guys actually been to college. They've been educated. They don't know the ways of the world. They don't know women. And you can fool an educated man, right? But you can't fool an intelligent man. You can dress up a slut, right? And teach her how to talk good and, and to the educated man, you think, he's got himself a pure diamond, pure pearl. But to the street guy who knows a fake diamond or a fake pearl or a slut, when he see one, a loose woman, he'll know he could look right through her. That's the appeal a lot of times these guys in the street have with the women because he knows the real her. He's on the submental because she vibrates on the submental. You understand? Don't think just because, she picks the guy who talks smart and whatnot. 9 times out of 10, she got the other guy on the other side of the fence. Dirty dude. She's sneaking off to see him. She to him, he keep it real. You know what I mean? He talk to her like she want to be talked to. Because that's the type of woman she really is. She's submental. And the intelligent guy, intelligent guy, She don't like the intelligent guy because 9 times out of 10 the intelligent guy don't want to have nothing to do with her anyway. He already know what she about too, right? She don't like him. They avoid him like the plague. They avoid the intelligent guy because the intelligent guy, he has street smarts and he has somewhat of an education. You know what I'm saying? But it's natural and he can receive from a higher level. So he's able to see all of that. He's able to oversee the intelligent. I mean, he's able to oversee the educated people. He's able to see over the street guys to where he's on a vibe, on a connection with a supreme source, a source of light. So he can see everything from a higher realm. He can see the woman how she really is. That's why those type of women, when they see an intelligent brother, a brother who thinks outside the box, a brother who thinks on a higher level, and everything he's saying makes sense, is based in logic. Unless you a real in tune sister, a real bright sister, somebody who's really on a higher level mentally, those type of women come or draw near the light. The other type of women, your black women, they go away from it because they don't want that light shining on them. Right? They don't like intelligent men because intelligent men make them feel stupid, exposes them. Right? You can only a woman can only pose, or a man, even a man, they can only pose as being somewhat smart, but for so long. See, a person who's not that smart, they're not going to keep talking to you. Like I said, the conversation is usually short, especially now in the young black generation. The conversation is short. It's about reality shows, weed, sex, video games, or something stupid. Basketball, the Nets coming to Brooklyn, some madness, some stupidity. You know, you already know 4 or 5 things they talking about. Going out to eat, you know, laughing at something stupid on TV, going to the movies, and back home for sex. Simple. See, but with an intelligent man, he's going to be looking to be mentally stimulated by his woman. And the majority of your black women just can't do that. You know, I'm not saying all of them can't, but the majority can't because they've been dumbed down. And they're not trying to smarten up. They rather stay dumbed down. Because, like I said, that means that, I got to use my brain energy for something more than getting my nails done, getting my hair done. I got to think about, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to do all that. You know, they want somebody where they don't have to work. They don't want to have to get their intelligence up. They don't want to have to, start thinking. They don't want to. It hurt their head. It hurt their pointy little heads to start thinking. To actually start thinking outside the box. To actually stop thinking about something other than reality shows or a Little Kim or Nicki Minaj or whoever the hell they talking about, Mary J. Blige or whatever. That actually hurts their head to think beyond that. You know, or sitting around eating till they read the bus. They getting big as school buses. You know, anything beyond that, like I said, it hurts. And they don't want no man to think outside that box. But to the educated man, everything is all good. You know, it's all good. He just happy to have a woman. Same thing with the street dude. He just happy to have a woman. He'll pay for your hair to get done. He'll sit up here and spend $300-400 on a hair weave that you're going to take out in 3 weeks. And he got to pay for it again because that's the educated man. And that's the street dude. They fools. They all educated. Educated fools. He'll take your crap from you, but an intelligent man, he ain't even going to entertain you. He's not going to take time with you. You understand that? He's not going to put up with your crap. He is on another level. He is your actual man, real man. He is going places. And a lot of times, those type of brothers, they have to find a special type of sister, or, a lot of times they want to be with women. They go outside, to other, maybe outside of America, and they'll try to find black women who are maybe African or mixed with something, or they'll go someplace else. Because the mentality of the American black woman is thrown off. It's thrown off. They looking for a support system. They looking for somebody they can be challenged by mentally. Somebody who's gonna be able to, do more than just have a good time in bed. Freak off. They're looking for somebody that's going to do more than stimulate their loins. They're looking for somebody that's going to stimulate them mentally. Right? And we already know, like I said, that the woman, black women are taught not to be able to stimulate or not look to stimulate men in that nature now, the black man. If anything, she's looking to match wits with the damn black man. It's us against them. It's this us against them mentality. So the minute they find a black man who's a challenge or some man who thinks on a higher level, they avoid him like the plague. I don't like how you think. Or I don't like your way of thinking. And why is that? I just don't like it. You can't tell me why. No, I just don't like it. I don't agree. Why not? I just don't agree. Yeah. Because, like I said, but who were the guys that you were in agreement with? Let's take a look at your history. Hood diggers, the hood guys, the educated, the guys who were square, the guys who, like I said, was just so happy to be around you because you was pretty, right? And then at the core of all that, with a lot of you black women now, and like I said, I'm not bashing black women. I'm just getting at the, how y'all trained in this society, how y'all constantly dumbed down, right? There was a sister on Facebook. I'm not gonna say your name, She so-called conscious natural sister, right? Now, she put all this little stuff on, dropped stuff about Kemet and Africa and all this other stuff. She talked all this Kemet and Africa and dropping knowledge and quotes and stuff like that. Why? And she's a pretty nice-looking sister. Don't get me wrong, nice-looking sister. Dropped all that stuff. Why did she have to post up a picture of her behind sticking out of a dress? Why? Why did you do that? Now, you was trying to come off like you was intelligent. You trying to make it not like you not about, showing your body and stuff like that. I done seen some of the most pathetic displays for attention on Facebook from women who are very submental. These are attractive women physically, but mentally they a mess. You posing on Facebook in your bra and panties. You're not an underwear model. You got people looking at you in your bra and panties because it's showing how pathetic you really are. That you can't get a man based on your intelligence, nor are you really attracted to a man based on intelligence. You're attracted to a man who wants something carnal with you, who looks to rip you apart, to sexually dominate you. But then you'll turn around and say you don't want to be thought of as a sexual object. But then you posing and you turn around and you show how fat your behind is, or you want a pair of bra and panties. I thought it was more than that. We could look at any magazine on a rack and see some woman with her behind hanging out. But you were supposed to be the light, the sister, the one who was dropping the knowledge. But you might as well, you ain't no different than the chicks on the magazine with their butt hanging out, with a thong up there. That's what you came and did? That's the knowledge, sister, you dropped? I was gonna call the sister out and ask her about, what's up with that? I had some respect for you. Like, you lost big points. Why was that necessary to do? Because I guess the real you had to come out. The real you had to come out. Always eventually the real you has to come out. Somebody who vibrates from the submental state. All that trying to play high post and you intelligent and whatnot, the real you comes out. All the time. And the intelligent man sees that. That's why those type of women, they run to the submentals. They run to the educated ones. They run to the educated ones. They run to the street guys. You understand? Because they respond to that. You can only fake being intelligent but for so long. Because it's just something you trying out. You proved who you really were. Just by that, you proved yourself. And you played yourself. A lot of these sisters, they damaged. They damaged goods mentally. They're damaged goods. Nothing but straight confusion going on. So in the minds of an intelligent man who's thinking in an order, right? He's thinking in a straight line, a linear state, in an order. A man who has purpose, you serve no purpose to an intelligent man. The average black woman, you serve no purpose. The way you thinking is messed up. You understand that? The man who has priorities in life, the man who is laying out, making intelligent decisions, the average black woman serves no purpose now. So what do? We do one of two things. We go and try to ferret out those sisters who are actually evolving out of the black race, who are evolving out of the simple-minded, who are becoming bright women, who are actually being turned on by the intelligence of a man over, the submental circular nonsense that you used to coming out of his mouth, what you used to dealing with, right? You deal with this, show you how they don't think. They'll say, "Oh, all men ain't nothing," or she by herself with her child, and she'll say, "All men ain't nothing," but then you still coming at men the same kind of way. You still dealing with the same kind of men. Your behavior hasn't changed. You expect men to change, but your behavior hasn't changed. You still vibrating on the low submental frequency. You still chasing after educated men who are either educated in the streets or educated in the limited school system or the school curriculum of the society. You still chasing after those men. And that goes for you conscious cats too, because y'all part of the educated ones too. You are the heaviest book readers I've ever seen. All books, all information, and nothing to show for it. All information, all books. You guys could tell me how many books you read on the Metzger. You could tell me how many books you done read on the damn from Ivan Van Sertima down to John Henry Clark. You could tell me all Dr. Ben, all these guys you read, all these books, and how you could break down the key to the Nile and the Nile of the Ankh key and what it does, and it opens the chakra points and the centers of your head, and you guys didn't accomplish a damn thing in your life. You still live in the projects. You living with your girl. You living with your moms. What have you accomplished? Don't tell me, stop trying to study what other people accomplished and accomplish something yourself. Move yourself forward. But you sisters, y'all want those kind of guys. You want them. The guys who are going nowhere, who are talking about nothing, who are doing nothing. All they doing is repeating a bunch of information, a bunch of rhetoric. That's it. That's the guys you want. These are the guys that sit around, the educated ones. The guys who can recite a book backwards and forwards verbatim, but can put none of that information to use. Because in the real world, though, nobody really cares. Right? Nobody cares. In the real world, the only way that you're going to be able to maneuver through the real world and really achieve things in the real world is by your intelligence. Not by your education, not by watching others, not by sitting around and trying to learn things in the society from school systems and things like that. Let me draw you a scenario. Who has more talent? Who can utilize more talent? Somebody who goes to art school or a natural artist? A person who's born naturally drawing and knows how to draw. That's a God-given talent. That's a natural talent that is generated in the mind of that person who draws naturally. That's something that can't be taught in a school. You understand? No one can teach you that. No one can teach you how to be a filmmaker. No one can really teach you how to be a doctor. They can show you certain, they can teach you, because certain things you just gravitate toward. When you have an interest toward medicine, you're going to naturally take to it because it's already in you to gravitate toward that. So if you go to school to be a doctor, a lawyer, a surgeon, whatever, you have a natural interest in the law or in medicine. So you're going to excel toward that. See, parents, they don't try to find what it is that their child naturally excels toward. What are his interests? If he's sitting around here playing with Lego blocks and building, then you got a little architect. You got a little architect on your hands. He's playing with Lego blocks and erector sets. You got a little architect. He's playing with beakers and things like that. You got a little scientist. You don't try to enhance his intelligence. You got him sitting in front of the TV watching SpongeBob all day. Because you got the brain of a damn sponge. So just like he's sitting around here watching SpongeBob, his brain is becoming a sponge soaking up that crap. So now he's running around acting silly. You understand? Jumping all around, acting like an idiot, a little idiot. That's what you're producing. Or you got him sitting around here watching Sesame Street. Right? So you helping to educate him young. You're helping in the educational process, black woman. You helping in that. And you simple-minded black men who still hang around, you helping in the educational process. Because you refuse to invest in his intelligence. You refuse to challenge his intelligence, see what interests him, and enhance that. You refuse. You would rather go and feed him an education. You would rather him get trained like a damn animal, like a zoo animal. How to think in a formation, in a circle, limited, dependent on people. No, you don't want him to use his natural intelligence. You start off programming them and making them mindless zombies. Right? You do it young. You make him pray for the ignorant black woman who will use him, who will play on his childlike mentality, because you didn't foster his intelligence. You didn't nurture his intelligence. So you make him pray for the ignorant black woman when he becomes an overgrown male. He grows up to an overgrown male. Right? Not a man, but an overgrown boy. Still sitting around talking about SpongeBob, who got the brain of SpongeBob at 18. You understand? Still, young black men walking around in the street like I see in Brooklyn wearing damn SpongeBob pajamas, pants in the street. That's where his mind is. Right? That's his mindset. His mind is in a fragile state. You make him pray for that. You make him pray for submental women. You women, you black women, y'all set your children up for that. You prepare him nice and good for the educational system. He gets his first form of education from you. Fragile state. We'll be right back. A lot of people will probably get upset with me because they think that I'm bashing the black woman tonight. And it's really not about bashing anybody, because everybody's to blame for this. You had, in the past, a better class of women who stood by their men, who tried to, because they didn't really have a system at that time that they could depend on. When I mentioned women like Sister Clara Muhammad, wife of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when I mentioned Sister Eunice Johnson, wife of John H. Johnson, who started Ebony and Jet, women like that, Coretta Scott King, women who stood by men, who were about something, men who carried a natural form of intelligence, right? They saw that, and they gravitated toward that, because we didn't have the natural educational system. We didn't have these things to carry us, or we couldn't run with these things or with this systematic way of thinking, because we weren't part of the system. When we were made part of the system, that's where the problem started. When we allowed ourselves to become part of the system, because we were kept out of the system, right? We were kept out of the system, so we were able to be pushed in a certain mindset. You understand? We were able to be pushed in a certain mindset to desire the system You get people to desire things by keeping them out. And no one wanted to assimilate more than the black woman. The black man second, the black woman first. They wanted to assimilate faster. Why do I say that? Who was the first one to start perming their hair? Who was the first one to start straightening their hair? The black woman. You understand? Madam C.J. Walker made that perm for the black woman. So she wanted to assimilate. She wanted the education. She wanted that. And black man followed suit because, like I said, usually the black man follows behind the black woman. All right? Now, when you start having people coming, because like I said, sometimes our people are like lightning rods where they're able to pull in that intelligence, where they're able to gravitate on that higher level. People, like I said, like Berry Gordy and them, John H. Johnson, Elijah Muhammad, people I keep naming who I look to as mentors, Dr. York, people like that, people who had that natural form of intelligence to lead people, to muster people together. I had somebody in the chat room called Berry Gordy a pimp. Some simple-minded Negro who obviously made his way out. Thank you for making your way out. That's the best you could do. Black men do that too. You got your hating black men who are educated, right? Your educated black men, whether they were educated in the streets or whether they were educated in college or in the university. The black men who usually never accomplish nothing, the ones who, the best they could end up doing is getting a job for the white man. Those type of black people, which is about 99% of your black men out here, right? They sit up here and they'll hate on somebody like Berry Gordy, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, like John H. Johnson, people who had natural intelligence, right? People who did things, who basically were able to receive or put themselves outside the box to receive higher intelligence. They hate on men like that. They got to be pimps. They got to find something disparaging to say about these men and whatnot. And these same men don't have such sparkling backgrounds themselves. So who are you judging them by? You don't like them because you don't possess what they had. You don't possess natural intelligence because you educated. You a robot for the white man. All you can do is jump and fetch and bow and run for a job and fill out an application. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. You can't think on that level. That man thought outside the box. And look at what he did. He made an impression, not just in black people, but on all of America. He made music for young America. And not black America, not white America, all of America. You see, he touched people with that music that he helped bring out and produce, that he created a venue to produce. He touched the whole era of people in the 60s and the 70s through what he brought out, through what he brought to fruition. Companies that would have never even took people like the groups that he put together. That man was a mastermind. But you always got some simple-minded Negro who hate. Like I said, that guy, Petey Green, and then this other guy who was in the chat room a while ago who, had something negative to say about Elijah Muhammad. You understand? These are the people who they don't get what's the natural form of intelligence that comes through. They don't get it. They don't get the natural form of intelligence. They don't understand. They don't understand the mindset. They don't understand the mindset of people like that. Their mindset is not geared to understand people who carry a natural form of intelligence. You understand that? Their minds are not geared to deal with people who carry a natural form of intelligence. Because if they understood that, if they understood what it is to have that, they would be able to attract better women, real women. Part of the problem that the men have in attracting the wrong woman is because of your level of intelligence or your lack thereof it. That's the problem you have. That is the biggest problem. You get the worst kind of women. You get the worst kind of women attracted to you because of your lack of intelligence, your inability to see what's coming near you. Because in the society, they tell you, they dictate to you what is the best kind of woman. What is the woman who you should be attracted to? This is what they tell you. They tell you that a woman who looks a certain way, a woman who acts a certain way, a woman who wears her hair a certain way, that's the woman you should go for. You find those women attractive. It's never about the intelligence of a woman. You ever notice that? They never tell you, because you can find 1,000,001 attractive women out there, but you'll never find women. You'll never hear them talking about the intelligence of a woman. You know, when I put up that intelligent sisters are sexy, when I said intelligent sisters, I'm not saying educated sisters. I'm talking about intelligent sisters or sexy or beautiful. You know, I didn't see anybody, weigh in on me with that. I mean, a few brothers hit it on the page for me, and they said that, but, not too many people weighed in on that. These are the people, like I said, these are the people who, when they succeed, when they hit, everybody's in awe. People like Berry Gordy, John H. Johnson, these are the people, the ones who carried that natural form of intelligence, those people who stuck to their guns, the people who came with ideas and made themselves lightning rods for ideas that will alter the future. These are the people who were focused upon. These are the people who end up becoming great. See, in the beginning, when these people are building things, nobody really sees them as great, because they're going through the trials and tribulations, they failing, like they always do. But something always gives. When you hit the bottom like that, there's only room to go up to the top and to keep rising, right? When you hit that point where you seem like you're coming down and there's no way up, like I said, nobody's around you. But when you start to rise, when things start going your way, when you start working things in your favor, then you see everybody, like I said, you get people who love you and hate you alike. They all have their name and your name in their mouth because they are in awe of you. They are enamored by you. They are enamored by you. Attention. They want to pay you attention. The intelligent people are always paid attention to in society, right? But the educated people are a flash in the pan. They are a flash in the pan, the educated people. You know how many educated people are in the world? You done been to school and all this other stuff, and they've done nothing with it. Like I said, I'm not disparaging. Go to school. But go to school with intelligence when you're going to receive an education. Go to school with your own natural intelligence when you're out to receive an education. Don't just go there bare boned or butt naked with nothing. And you're in there to get your education. You're in there for somebody to teach you how to think. Don't go there for that. Go there with intelligence as your undergarment and put on education on top of it as your top coat. But always let your undergarments be your intelligence. They should be working hand in hand, because based on that, that's when you know what to go to school for. You're not, like I said, you're not sitting up in college like a simpleton taking up liberal arts or nonsense that you can't utilize in the real world. You're there for things like medicine, law, science, architecture, agriculture. You're there for things like that to help your people, to help yourself. Because helping yourself is helping your people. And helping your people is helping yourself. You're there for a reason. You serve a purpose now. That's what intelligent people do who go to seek education. They just need somebody to show them how to do it. That's what they're there for. Just show me how to do it, so I'll do the rest. I don't need your philosophy. I don't need your, the stuff they try to get you to write papers on, all kind of stupidity, because that's part of the education system. They're trying to get you to think in a certain way. Read books that about their philosophy and their ideas and things like that. That you don't care. You don't care not one thing about. They force you to read that. They force you to try to think like they think. Instead of you being like, look, I'm just here to get the technology and the knowledge on this, but they got to put you through the garbage first. You know what that really is? They do that. They do that to discourage you, because 85 to 90% of the things they teach you in school are not necessary. You understand? They just do that to fill a curriculum. They teach 85 to 90% of the things they teach you in school you'll never use again. It's just them trying to waste some time in your life. You should be already in medical school, law school at 15 and 16 years old. You understand? If you cut out all the BS that they were teaching you. You should be in medical school and law school at 16 years old. Something called a genius should not even exist. That should be the norm. That should be the norm. You understand that? That should be the norm. But they slow you down purposely. Because they want to put you through 12 years of nonsense, trivialness. That's the whole point, right? Till you're turned off. We've come to the end of our broadcast. I'm going to answer these questions in the feed before we go. December 16th, we're going to be doing the Supermen, Superwomen Project. December 16th, Sunday, December 16th, right? At the same place at the Bed-Stuy Restoration Plaza, our favorite place, where they mess up all our stuff, and, but we love them anyway, because we end up getting the room for free when they mess up. But anyway, so we'll be doing this December 16th at the Restoration Plaza, the Supermen, Superwomen Project. So join us for the project, those of you in the New York City area or in the tri-state area who wish to come out. All right? Do black women really prefer educated black men over intelligent black men? Of course. Because, like I said, the black woman doesn't really believe that the black man can think on his own or operate or move in the world without the education, without the validation or the accreditation of the white man in his educational system or his curriculum. In other words, she, wants a black man, and she don't believe the black man has any real intelligence on his own. And that's the truth. That's the truth. That's why, like I said, when the black man starts to talk like he has some sort of sense, so-called black man talk like he has some sort of sense, or he's thinking on a high level, where were you educated at? What books did you read? You'll never ask the white man that. You ever notice that? So let's say put a white man in the suit or put him in, he'll start talking about things, and he'll start talking about medicine, or he'll start talking about encryption codes to computers or any kind of thing that sounds smart. You'll never get the woman or any black woman or anybody asking him, well, where did you learn that from? What book did you read that from? You just assume he naturally knows. You gotta do that. You just assume he naturally knows. You don't question him, but the black man you question. Because the black man ain't supposed to be thinking on his own without the assistance of white people. So that's why she prefers the educated one. Because in the educated man, she thinks of him as security, because the white man, she looks to him as a security blanket. His system, his educational system, his welfare system, they are systematic thinkers who look for security blankets in those systems. So if you're educated, you represent a security blanket. If you're intelligent, you out there naked and on your own. What is the real difference between educated and intelligent people? Educated people are people who are trained to think. Intelligent people can naturally think, right? Intelligent people can naturally think and receive intelligence or higher intelligence, who can channel in and pull in logical ways and are able to put their thoughts in order. They're able to prioritize and put their thoughts in order, the thoughts that are generated in their head. Educated people have to be taught to think in a formation. So one is real intelligence, and education is a form of artificial intelligence. Right? That's the difference. One is real. One is real mental perception from on high, coming throughout this atmosphere, being generated into this atmosphere from on high, from God, the true intelligent being, the true intelligent, high intelligent being, to men and women who are in tune on a higher level mentally, and the other one is artificial, coming from men in the submental state. Right? Why do they prefer educated men over intelligent ones? Like I said, security again, security blanket. And also because the educated man doesn't really challenge them, right? An educated man, they look at it as a square. He's lame. They can control him. They can dictate things to him, right? That's why they prefer him. And the intelligent man, he can't do that with. He's not even going to waste his time. He'll talk to them and he could size them up and figure them out in a heartbeat, quickly, and he'll be done with them. Can educated people become intelligent people? No. Nope. Educated people cannot become intelligent people, but intelligent people can become educated people. You're either born in tune, thinking outside the box, or had that desire to think outside the box, and and whether you're able to receive higher intelligence or not, that's something that's born in you. Certain people don't have that. That's why they have to go through life consuming all of these books. They have to read all these books and get all this information because they're trying to fill that empty space between their ears. They want to sound smart instead of actually trying to open their minds up to receive higher intelligence, to receive advanced thought, as we're doing in the State of Mental, as I make sure I teach in the Supermen, Superwomen project of thinking outside the box to receive higher intelligence. That's all I teach. Through the knowledge of mentellect. That's all I teach. And it's advanced intelligence that is not of man. That's all I teach. I don't waste my time teaching things that men taught, because if that's the case and you don't need me, you can go look at those men and go read their books. Why sit and waste your time listening to me teach anything when you go to some men and hear what you've been hearing in a rotation within the educational system? I don't do that. I give you what you can't get from them, what you'll never get from them. And that is intelligence from on high, mentellect. Right? What does this mean in the future intelligence of a new people? That means that once we understand the difference between intelligent people and educated people, and sides are starting to be chosen, we'll be able to effectively mass in a collective number of people. It don't have to be a lot of people, because the intelligent people, like I said, 5 intelligent people were willing to work together and cooperate are worth more than 25 educated people who are individuals who are looking to do their own thing. You understand? That's the problem with black people. Too many educated people, not enough intelligent people. Right? So that's it. We've come to the end of our broadcast. People always do this at the end, 404. I'm at the end of the broadcast. I'll take your question real quick, and then I got to be out of here. 404. You're on the air, 404.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I understand what you're saying, but it's still a little bit hard to understand who you're supposed to be in this society, because you can be intelligent and then go to college and get educated knowing that everything isn't what they're saying, but it's hard to find your place in society because you have to fit into a hole somewhere along the line. And I feel like I kind of sold my soul out a lot because there wasn't any place to put my real intelligence. And I even have problems with men because I don't really like the educated man, but I attracted the street man. So what's in between? What should I do?
What you should do is craft out your own level and find people and advance in your own way of thinking and create your own lane. Stop looking in lanes for people and create your own lane. And based on what you create or what you bring forward, you're going to attract the right type of men to you, intelligent men. Don't look for educated men. Don't look for streetwise men, because those are all forms of educated men. Bring out that intelligence in yourself, that natural intelligence. Whether you're going to school to be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever you're going to do, bring out that natural intelligence in yourself. Utilize that, and the intelligent men will attract to you. Okay?
All right. Okay. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. We've come to the end of our broadcast. Check us out Monday night on State of Mental Radio. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkares. I don't know what I'm going to play that's going to be short because we got a couple of minutes. What can I crash out with? Let me see. What do I got that's short? Short and sweet. Something short and sweet. Okay. Still dope. Star. We're out of here. Good night. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkares, State of Mental Radio. Good night.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that